Do you remember laughing at every royal mishap in Coming to America? 37 years later, the actors who brought Zamunda to life are almost unrecognizable. Some have vanished from the spotlight entirely, while others have aged and changed in ways that will shock you, not just in appearance, but in the lives they've led off-screen. Stay tuned. You won't believe what they've endured since 1988. Arsenio Hall as Semmi. Semmi was the perfect comedic foil to Eddie Murphy's Prince Akeem, witty, sly, and endlessly loyal. Arsenio Hall brought that energy to the screen with impeccable timing, making every moment between the royal cousins crackle with laughter. His charm in Coming to America was the kind that made audiences root for him, even when Semmi's schemes went hilariously wrong. Before the fame, Hall's journey wasn't simple. Growing up in Cleveland after his parents' divorce, he carried a deep sense of loneliness, which he channeled into his comedy. Stand-up stages became his escape, and by the early 1980s, he was performing on shows like Saturday Night Live, sharpening his wit while navigating the barriers facing black comedians in mainstream entertainment. Arsenio's career reached its peak with The Arsenio Hall Show, making him the first major black talk show host to command national attention. But success came with pressure. Ratings battles, relentless production schedules, and public scrutiny took a toll. The show's sudden cancellation in 1994 hit him hard, triggering anxiety and depression that left him questioning his future in entertainment. Personal struggles mirrored his professional ones. Raising his son, Arsenio Jr., as a single father after a breakup caused by infidelity brought emotional weight to his life. Combined with habits like smoking and overwork, Hall often found himself teetering between brilliance on stage and exhaustion off it. Scandals, including a bizarre lawsuit involving Sinead O'Connor, only added more tension to an already turbulent life. Arsenio Hall played Semmi in Coming to America in 1988 when he was 32 years old. As of 2025, he is 69 years old, has stepped back from the relentless pace of television, but continues to be celebrated for his contributions to comedy and talk shows, with an estimated net worth of $16 million. James Earl Jones as King Jaffe Joffer. When King Jaffe Joffer commands a room, you feel the weight of authority and tradition, and James Earl Jones made that palpable. In Coming to America, he balanced gravitas with subtle humor, guiding Prince Akeem's misadventures with a mixture of stern wisdom and gentle amusement. Every scene he touched carried a depth that made the royal court feel alive and real. Jones's career, however, was shaped by struggle long before Zamunda. As a child, he battled severe stuttering and silence that lasted nearly 8 years. Learning to communicate through poetry and performance became both his therapy and his ticket to the stage, but breaking into Hollywood as a black actor in the 1950s and 60s brought its own set of battles, from limited roles to typecasting that often minimized his vast talent. Despite these challenges, Jones earned acclaim through powerhouse performances on Broadway and in films like The Great White Hope and Field of Dreams. Yet each success was hard-won, requiring relentless dedication in a system that rarely made space for someone like him. The pressure of representing black excellence in high-profile roles added another layer of responsibility and stress. Even his personal life was tinged with hardship. The death of his second wife, Cecilia Hart, left him to navigate grief while maintaining a career under public scrutiny. Health issues, including type 2 diabetes and respiratory concerns, made the physical demands of acting increasingly challenging in later years. James Earl Jones played King Jaffe Joffer in Coming to America in 1988 when he was 57 years old. He passed away in 2024 at the age of 93, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $40 million. Eddie Murphy as Prince Akeem Joffer. Stepping into the shoes of Prince Akeem, Eddie Murphy brought charm, humor, and heart to a character who was more than just royalty. He was a young man chasing something real in a world built on appearances. On screen, Akeem's journey to Queens wasn't just about love. It was a comedic clash of cultures, manners, and expectations that Murphy made endlessly entertaining. Behind the laughter, Eddie's path in Hollywood was far from easy. Fresh off Beverly Hills Cop and 48 Hours, he faced the pressure of living up to massive success while trying to explore new comedic roles. Films like The Nutty Professor and Harlem Nights were high-stakes experiments, and not all of them landed as planned, leaving him vulnerable to harsh criticism and studio pressures that threatened to overshadow his talent. Murphy's childhood struggles added layers to his perseverance. Losing his father to violence and seeing his mother hospitalized for tuberculosis, he and his brother endured time in temporary foster care. That early trauma, coupled with the relentless scrutiny of Hollywood, meant that success never felt easy or secure. It was a constant battle to prove himself worthy of the spotlight. Even as fame grew, personal and professional tensions intertwined. Relationships, scandal, and the responsibility of raising 10 children added to the complexity of his life, challenging his focus and creativity. Yet through it all, Murphy's ability to transform adversity into laughter became his signature, a skill that kept audiences coming back for decades. Eddie Murphy played Prince Akeem Jaffer in Coming to America in 1988, when he was 27 years old. As of 2025, he is 64 years old, continues to act, produce, and reinvent himself with an estimated net worth of $200 million. Madge Sinclair as Queen Aeolian Jaffer. Queen Aeolian was the quiet backbone of the royal family, regal, authoritative, and wise. Madge Sinclair embodied that presence effortlessly, bringing depth to every scene in Coming to America. Even in moments of tension or humor, her performance reminded audiences that true strength often comes with grace and subtlety. Madge's own journey to the screen was paved with challenges. Growing up in Jamaica with limited resources, she worked as a teacher before immigrating to the United States in the 1960s. Breaking into Hollywood as a black actress in a time of limited roles meant constant rejection, financial struggle, and emotional strain, yet she persevered. Her career highlights, including roles in Roots and Star Trek, showcased her versatility and earned her respect among peers. Still, the demands of acting and navigating an industry slow to embrace diversity often left Sinclair feeling isolated, especially as a single mother raising 2 sons after divorcing Royston Sinclair. The early 1990s brought one of the harshest blows, a diagnosis of leukemia. The illness rapidly cut short both her life and her career, casting a shadow over the legacy she had fought so hard to build. The weight of being a working mother, an immigrant, and a celebrated actress made her victories all the more poignant, and her struggles left a mark on those who admired her. Madge Sinclair played Queen Aeolian Jaffer in Coming to America in 1988 when she was 50 years old. She passed away in 1995 at the age of 57 from leukemia, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $2 million. John Amos as Cleo McDowell. Cleo McDowell was the humorous yet grounded father figure in Coming to America, a character who could deliver laughs while embodying real-world frustrations and heart. John Amos infused the role with gravitas and impeccable comedic timing, balancing satire with sincerity to make Cleo both memorable and relatable. John's journey to acting was far from easy. Growing up in poverty in New Jersey, he initially pursued professional football before transitioning to acting, an unconventional route fraught with risk and uncertainty. As a black actor in the 1970s and 1980s, he faced systemic barriers, limited roles, and typecasting, which tested his resilience and patience. His career was not without conflict. Leaving Good Times after disputes with producers over the racial stereotyping of his character marked a turning point, demonstrating his insistence on dignity and integrity even at the cost of fame and steady work. Financial setbacks from poor investments and near-fatal accidents added further stress to an already demanding professional life. Despite these challenges, John achieved critical acclaim through landmark projects like Roots and numerous other television and film roles. Balancing professional pressures with personal struggles, including 2 divorces and strained relationships with his children, he demonstrated remarkable perseverance throughout decades in the entertainment industry. John Amos played Cleo McDowell in Coming to America in 1988 when he was 48 years old. He passed away on August 21, 2024, at the age of 84 due to heart failure, and his estimated net worth at the time of death was $3 million. Shari Headley as Lisa McDowell. Lisa McDowell was the heart of Coming to America, charming, intelligent, and the perfect complement to Prince Akeem's royal antics. Shari Headley brought warmth, wit, and natural charisma to the role, creating a character audiences instantly connected with and remembered for decades. Her chemistry with Eddie Murphy was electric, elevating the film's romantic comedy into something memorable and timeless. Before fame, Shari transitioned from modeling to acting, navigating an industry full of uncertainty and intense competition. She faced frequent typecasting, long periods of unemployment, and the constant challenge of proving her versatility as an actress. These early career struggles tested her confidence, forcing her to confront whether she could truly establish a lasting career in Hollywood. Her personal life mirrored these professional struggles. She married rapper Christopher "Play" Martin in 1993, but the marriage ended after just 2 years amid accusations of infidelity, leaving Shari to raise her son Skylar alone. Adding to the emotional toll, she battled depression following the tragic death of her brother in a car accident, a loss that haunted her for years. Despite setbacks, Shari continued to shine on both the big and small screens, with notable work in films and later in the television series All My Children. Long hours on set, high expectations, and the pressures of public scrutiny often left her exhausted, requiring persistent effort to maintain both mental and physical health while delivering compelling performances. Shari Headley played Lisa McDowell in Coming to America in 1988, when she was 24 years old. As of 2025, she is 61 years old, continues to act in film and television, and has an estimated net worth of $2 million. Eriq Salle as Darryl Jenks. Darryl Jenks was the slick, ambitious friend in Coming to America, a character full of charm, wit, and a touch of scheming energy. Eriq Salle brought the perfect blend of confidence and humor, making Darryl memorable as the foil to Prince Akeem's royal innocence. His performance balanced comedy and subtle social commentary, leaving a lasting impression. Eriq's journey in Hollywood wasn't smooth. Growing up in a strict, emotionally distant household in Connecticut left him with a constant sense of isolation, which carried into his professional life. He struggled to assert creative control in a competitive industry, facing canceled projects and legal battles over intellectual property that threatened to stall his career. Though a private person, Eriq's personal life intertwined with professional pressures. A short-lived engagement in the early 2000s ended because he didn't want to marry, and he never reconciled with the grief of losing his mother suddenly or with his estranged father before his passing. These emotional burdens added weight to an already challenging career. Despite setbacks, Eriq eventually found acclaim in television with ER, both as an actor and later as a director. His drive for perfection often led to isolation and intense self-criticism, but also fueled the high quality of his work. The tension between artistic integrity and industry demands shaped much of his professional life. Eriq Salle played Darryl Jenks in Coming to America in 1988 when he was 26 years old. As of 2025, he is 63 years old, continues to work in acting and directing, and has an estimated net worth of $5 million. Paul Bates as Oha. You might not immediately remember Oha, but Paul Bates gave him a quiet charm that made the royal entourage feel complete. His small role in Coming to America shone because of his unique presence and his distinct voice that lingered in audiences' minds. Breaking into Hollywood was far from easy for Paul. Growing up in the Bronx, he faced poverty and a competitive industry that often left him overlooked. Landing steady work was a struggle, and he endured long stretches of unemployment that tested both his patience and self-belief. Even when he got roles, typecasting was a constant challenge. Films like The Last Dragon and House Party 3 offered opportunities, but often felt like minor escapes rather than career breakthroughs. Each audition carried the weight of uncertainty, and each rejection stung deeper than the last. Despite the setbacks, Paul stayed committed to his craft, taking every role seriously and finding joy in small victories. The tension of balancing personal life with sporadic work created emotional strain, but he persisted, turning his love for performance into a quiet resilience. Paul Bates played Oha in Coming to America in 1988 when he was 29 years old. As of 2025, he is 67 years old and continues to take on selective roles in film and television, with an estimated net worth of $1 million. Louie Anderson as Maurice. Maurice, the quirky, lovable character in Coming to America, came to life through Louie Anderson's gentle humor and self-deprecating charm. Louie had a way of making audiences laugh while subtly revealing the vulnerabilities of his characters, creating a depth that went beyond simple comedy. Life off-screen mirrored some of the struggles he portrayed. Growing up in a chaotic Minnesota household as one of 11 children, Louie endured a father addicted to alcohol and prone to violence. These early traumas left lasting scars, contributing to lifelong battles with self-esteem, depression, and weight challenges that he openly incorporated into his comedy. Career highs were matched with equally painful lows. Louie achieved success with Life with Louie and numerous stand-up specials, yet the pressure to remain relevant and maintain his unique comedic voice was relentless. Setbacks in touring schedules and projects that never materialized tested his resilience repeatedly. Even in adulthood, Louie's personal life was marked by solitude. Never married, he faced the loneliness and health challenges that many of his childhood adversities had foreshadowed. The final blow came with a lymphoma diagnosis in 2021, which ended his life at the age of 68, cutting short the laughter he had given generations of fans. Louie Anderson played Maurice in Coming to America in 1988 when he was 35 years old. He passed away on January 21, 2022, at the age of 68 due to lymphoma, and his estimated net worth at the time of his death was $10 million. Calvin Lockhart as Colonel Izzy. Colonel Izzy was intimidating, cunning, and unforgettable, and Calvin Lockhart gave him all of that with natural authority. Even in a supporting role, he made every scene crackle with presence and tension. Lockhart's road to Hollywood was paved with obstacles. Leaving the Bahamas for New York, he worked menial jobs while chasing an acting dream in a system that often overlooked black talent. Roles were limited, competition was fierce, and success felt like a distant hope more often than not. When opportunities did arise, the struggle didn't end. Iconic films like Cotton Comes to Harlem and The Final Countdown highlighted his talent, but persistent typecasting and industry insecurity weighed heavily on him. Each project came with pressure, long hours, and the constant challenge of proving himself worthy of substantial roles. Personal sacrifices amplified professional stress. Balancing family obligations, 2 divorces, and the emotional toll of an unpredictable career created deep tension. The weight of striving for recognition while navigating heartbreak and disappointment shaped both his performances and his life off-screen. Calvin Lockhart played Colonel Izzy in Coming to America in 1988 when he was 54 years old. He passed away on March 29, 2007, at the age of 72 from a stroke, leaving an estimated net worth of $8 million. Ralph Bellamy as Randolph Duke. Randolph Duke was commanding, shrewd, and perfectly cast, and Ralph Bellamy brought decades of experience to make the character unforgettable. His calm authority and timing added depth to the comedic chaos of the film. Bellamy's career spanned over 6 decades, but it was not without hardship. Surviving the Great Depression, personal financial losses, and navigating a Hollywood that often demanded conformity tested both his resilience and creativity. Even with success in films like His Girl Friday, Trading Places, and The Awful Truth, he faced professional strain. Balancing long-term commitments, maintaining relevance, and overcoming typecasting were constant battles that weighed heavily on him. His personal life reflected the turbulence of his career. 4 marriages, 3 painful divorces, and a strained relationship with his daughter added emotional stress. Health problems, including arthritis and lung disease, and the heartbreak of losing his brother contributed to a sense of isolation in his final years. Ralph Bellamy played Randolph Duke in Coming to America in 1988, when he was 84 years old. He passed away on November 29, 1991, at the age of 87 due to lung disease. His estimated net worth at the time of death was $10 million. Frankie Faison as Landlord. Landlord may have been a small role in Coming to America, but Frankie Faison's presence brought weight and authenticity to every scene. His grounded performances always made supporting characters memorable. Frankie's path in Hollywood was far from smooth. Growing up in a poor Virginia household with hard-working parents, he had to fight for every opportunity. Breaking into film and television as a black actor in the 1970s and 80s required relentless perseverance and facing constant rejection. Even after landing roles, challenges persisted. Films and shows like The Wire and Hannibal highlighted his talent, yet the journey between parts was filled with uncertainty. The pressure of maintaining consistency in a competitive industry often left him emotionally drained. Personal life added more tension. A first marriage ended due to conflicting schedules and career demands, and while his second marriage brought children, he continued to navigate the stress of balancing family and work. A serious car accident in 1995 left him with chronic pain that complicated both his professional and personal life. Frankie Faison played Landlord in Coming to America in 1988 when he was 39 years old. As of 2025, he is 76 years old, still active in acting with occasional roles, and has an estimated net worth of $2.5 million. Vanessa Bell Calloway as Imani Izzy. Imani Izzy may have had a brief but unforgettable presence on screen, and Vanessa Bell Calloway brought elegance, warmth, and strength to the role. Her energy made the character stand out in every scene. Vanessa's journey into Hollywood was marked by persistence. Transitioning from theater to film, she faced the challenges of limited roles for black actresses in the 1980s. Films like What's Love Got to Do with It and Coming to America gave her visibility, but breaking through typecasting and consistently finding meaningful roles remained a struggle. Even with recognition, pressures persisted. Balancing career ambitions with family life, she married in 1988 and raised 2 daughters, required constant negotiation and personal sacrifice. The entertainment industry's expectations often clashed with her desire for authenticity, leaving her emotionally stretched. Health challenges added more strain. A breast cancer diagnosis forced Vanessa to undergo a double mastectomy, confronting both mortality and the impact on her personal confidence. Anxiety about her health occasionally overshadowed professional opportunities, yet she persisted, returning to roles in television and film with resilience. Vanessa Bell Calloway played Imani Izzy in Coming to America in 1988 when she was 31 years old. As of 2025, she is 68 years old, still active in acting and voice work, and has an estimated net worth of $6 million. Samuel L. Jackson as Hold-Up Man. Samuel L. Jackson may have only had a brief but memorable appearance as the Hold-Up Man, yet his charisma and intensity made the character unforgettable. Every scene he touched seemed to crackle with energy and presence. Jackson's rise in Hollywood was anything but smooth. Breaking into film in the 1970s and 80s, he faced the dual pressures of typecasting and a predominantly white industry, all while grappling with his own speech challenges and early struggles with substance abuse. Movies like Do the Right Thing and Jungle Fever showcased his talent, but also demanded emotional depth, resilience, and confrontation with harsh realities behind the scenes. Success brought its own pressures. Navigating fame in blockbuster hits such as Pulp Fiction and Snakes on a Plane meant long hours, public scrutiny, and the challenge of balancing intense work schedules with personal life. Jackson's intensity on set was matched by his discipline, yet it sometimes came with exhaustion and stress. Personal hardships intertwined with professional ones. Growing up in Tennessee under segregation, facing a father who abandoned the family, and losing close friends and mentors left deep marks on him. Even after overcoming drug addiction early in his career, Jackson carried the weight of those experiences into every role, turning adversity into the fierce, commanding presence audiences know today. Samuel L. Jackson played the hold-up man in Coming to America in 1988, when he was 39 years old. As of 2025, he is 77 years old, still active in film and television, and has an estimated net worth of $250 million. Don Ameche as Mortimer Duke. Mortimer Duke's authoritative yet comedic presence was brought to life by Don Ameche, whose experience and charm made every scene richer. Even in satire, his performances commanded attention. Ameche's Hollywood career spanned decades, from classic films like Cocoon, Heaven Can Wait, to early radio and stage work. Yet behind the acclaim, he faced the difficulties of aging in an industry obsessed with youth and constant reinvention. Staying relevant in the late 1980s required adaptability and resilience, a challenge even for a seasoned actor. Professional success came with personal sacrifice. His work ethic meant long hours away from home, and the pressures of maintaining a public image often took a toll. Balancing multiple projects while staying true to artistic standards was a constant source of stress. Personal loss shadowed his later years. Though married for 54 years, he endured the heartbreaking death of one of his 6 children. Health problems, including arthritis and later prostate cancer, compounded his struggles, reminding everyone that fame cannot shield one from life's tragedies. Don Ameche played Mortimer Duke in Coming to America in 1988 when he was 80 years old. He passed away on December 6, 1993, at the age of 85 due to prostate cancer. His estimated net worth at the time of death was $10 million. So, how many of these stars did you actually recognize? Their journeys since 1988 have been full of surprises, triumphs, and heartbreaks, and some stories might shock you. Don't just stop here. Click to see the full transformations and discover what your favorite cast members are up to today.